Renai hai tosire vyai Mriai hai Keshavashacha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Renai hai Toside Vyai Priyai hai Keshavashacha Vishnu Bhakti Radhe Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Maum Vishnu Padai Krishna Vastai Budale Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Vinivasesas Nivadi Paschatati Shtari. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai. Panchakalpa Taruvascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavanivyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Round. Jaya Radha Madhova Kunda Vihare Jai Radha Madhova Kunda Vihare Gopinana Madhava Kiri Bharadari Gopinana Madhava Kiri Bharadari Yasudanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasudanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna te Ramana Chauti Yamuna te Ramana Chauti Jai Ho Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jai Ho Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopijana Madhava Girivardhari Gopichana Manava Iri Dhavuti Yasodanandana Brajachananandana Yasodanandana Brajachananandana Yamuna Tera Manachati Yamuna Tera Manachati Jai Hurada Madhuva Kunjabi Khanti Jai Hurada Madhuva Kunjabi Khanti Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Teda Satyashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prema Se Goho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shitwade Gadadha Shivatsari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuranam Ki Jai Jagadadha Sami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Srimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Budale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivasesha Srinivadi Paschatya Deheja Tarni. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 33rd chapter, text 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Valayanam Nupuranam Kinkininam Cha Yoshitam Sa Priyanam Abuch Chabdas Tumulo Rasa Mandalhe Valayanam Nupuranam Kinkininam Chayoshitam Sapriyanam Abhuchabdas Tumulo Rasamandale Valayanam Nupuranam Kinkininam Chayoshitam Sapriyanam Abhuchabdas Tumulo Rasamandale Valayanam Nupuranam Kinkininam Jayoshitam Sapriyanam Abhutchabdas Tumalo Rasamandale Right? Valayanam of the armlets. Nupuranam, ankle bells. Kinkininam, bells worn around the waist. Chap, and Yoshitam, of the women. Sapriyanam, who were with their beloved. Abut, there was. Shabdaha, a sound. Tumulaha, tumultuous. Rasamandale, in the circle of the rasa dance. The translation, a tumultuous sound arose from the armlets, ankle bells, and waist bells of the gopis as they sported with their beloved Krishna in the circle of the rasa dance. So you can repeat. A tumultuous sound arose from the armlets, ankle bells, and waist bells of the gopis as they sported with their beloved Krishna in the circle of the rasa dance. So there's no purport by the servants of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, so there's commentaries by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami, short commentaries, and we'll read those. The bangles, ankle bells, and waist bells of those women with Krishna, Sapriyanam, made a great sound. Cha indicates that musical instruments such as various types of drums also were played. However, indicating them only by cha means that they were not the principal instruments and did not cover the sound of the gopis' ornaments. In other words, the gopis' ornaments were much louder and much more prominent than any of the drums or cartels or anything like that, which is really interesting. What? A violin? Yeah, they were more prominent than the violin, than the guitar and everything like that. That's true. Having described, but there were no harmoniums there, because the harmonium is a Western instrument. So I guarantee there were no harmoniums there. So having described, or pianos, or saxophones, having described the festival produced by the devatas, the instruments and singing suitable for the rasa dance are described. First, the sounds from the gopis' ornaments are described. The bells were on the belts, and other accessories of the gopis. The word yoshitam suggests that it was natural for these ornaments and sounds since they were women. The sound arose from the women, each of whom had Krishna with them. Sapriyanam. That sound arose in the circle they formed for the rasa dance. So I'm going to continue reading, if this is all right, from the Gopal Champu, if that's all right, where we were reading the other day. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. or starting. The chains of their moving ankle bells reach the heavens. So in other words, the sound of their ankle bells, nupara, which broadcast the excellence of their dancing. At the rasa dance, a mixture of various beats arose. That sound attracted the devatas wandering in the distant sky. Arriving on chariots, they joyously experienced singing, instrumental music, and refinement simultaneously and forgot their identities. The devatas talked among themselves. Look, look, Krishna is singing and he attracts the gopis, and the women sing and they attract Krishna. So it's like a mutual exchange like that. Each and every one is trying to please the other. So this is all done with a mood of devotion. Generally, let's say if we have someone singing in a concert, they're really appreciating the adulation they're getting from others. What do they say? The roar of the crowd, the smell of the grease paint. You've heard that statement before? No one's heard that. Anyone who studied theater would know that. So, in other words, someone who's doing a theatrical performance, they actually really appreciate being worshipped. And you see that many artists and musicians, they actually are depressed when they're not on stage. And many of them commit suicide. But here, they're not doing it to get adulation, but they're just doing it to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Look at the bank of the river resplendent with Krishna and with the gopis being embraced. This is, of course, the demigod speaking at this point. Listen to the novel song sung by the gopis. They sing a song in accordance with the musical scriptures. Dancing spontaneously joined the singing, depicting the words of the song. When the dancers moved most attractive gestures, in all their limbs, their eyes became dancers along with their eyebrows. So you actually see a lot of this in the part2 dancing that we've seen last week. Actually, it was very beautiful that not the gopis, but our devotees here did these part2 dances, and you can see how their eyes are, what they do with their eyes, their hands, and every part of their body is very, very important. And, they're smiling, or, if they're in another mood, they may be even grimacing because they're angry with Krishna. So every part of the body, this is actually part of part2. Generally, people think that it's just the dancing, but it's actually expressions of every part of the body. The devatas, most expert in music, dancing, and singing, also began dancing to the music with gestures. When the sound of various drums mixed with the music from the heavens, the golden gopis in all the forms of Krishna became alert and eager by the profusion of excellent dancing, while their feet, hands, throats, and waists became fatigued. Like archers who do not fall or fail in hitting their mark, the group, having joined hands, did not fail to achieve their goals. Though the gopis in forms of Krishna had joined hands, they separated their hands according to the beat of the music, showing various gestures. In other words, clapping. Quickly, their minds reached the height of satisfaction. Then again, they joined their hands in the bliss of the rasa dance. In other words, they were holding Krishna's hands and like that. Not exactly like that, but I'm just trying to give you an illustration. And the beats were actually quite, in other places the acharyas describe the beats were actually quite complicated. There's different types. Have you ever heard someone play the tablas? You got all these different beats, and someone who's expert in mridangas too, it's the same thing. It's not just like, like cartels, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, if you learn to play the mridanga, you have all these mridanga mantras you chant. Dicha, dicha, de, de. And you hear that sometimes. Showers of flowers constantly fell upon Krishna and the golden gopis. It was astonishing that there was a shower from above the clouds and lightning were below. The Devatas and their wives, bearing the weight of material life, having been newly defeated, began to praise Krishna. Understanding what was proper, through the influence of Yogamaya, they began singing to the accompaniment of music. The song is here compiled and presented. This is the song. Glory to the essence of all good qualities. You've appeared in Gokula to give happiness to the world. O Lord, Brahma, Shiva, and Lakshmi meditate on serving you. You are present with your women in the rasa dance filled with your pastimes. Of course, this is the Devatas. You wear clothing and ornaments like an actor and are endowed with the 64 talents. You create joy among all present. You create great joy in the women by embracing them and destroy their pain. On seeing each other, you all develop sattvika bhavas. You are present in many forms. It's Vishuddha Sattva, actually, not just material sattvika. And there are 8 of them described, 8 primary ones. You are present in many forms in the circle. You have been brought under control by seeing the women of Braja. They flirt by touching your lotus feet, holding your hand, and moving their eyebrows. Their waists bend, their earrings sway, their hairs stand on end, and they perspire. You are like a cloud, and the women are like lightning. This comparison shows your extreme beauty. The women have sweet voices, are zealous dancers, and have affection for only you. Their hearts are filled with the intoxication of your sweet touch. They have purchased you with prema. Full of happiness, you stand among these young women who cover the earth with joy arising from the songs. I offer respects to you. Singing the purest notes with you, who maintain astonishment, Radha reveals songs filled with all your qualities, which are praised by everyone. Revealing her excellence and joy, while singing, Radha worships you and you worship her. She becomes tired in the dance, and the jasmine garland falls from her hair. With great artistry, she places her arm on your shoulder, splendid with an ear ornament. She kisses your iron arms with joy. Up to the shoulder, she feels inestimable rapture, such that her hairs stand on end in joy. O Krishna, with swaying earrings and with cheeks like mirrors, as a pretext for touching the gopis, you indulge in play by kissing them after giving them chewed betel. O brother of Balaram, the young girl who keeps beat to the dancing and singing with her jingling bangles takes your incomparable lotus hand to her heart. O Krishna, object of sight for the gopis exhausted from engaging in the rasa dance. O Krishna, exhausting those engaged in the revolving dance. O Krishna, filled with the highest affection for the gopis. O Krishna, whose fame is confirmed by poets. O Krishna, wearing all types of garlands. Glory to you. Glory to you, glory to you, O performer of the rasa dance. The statement, Rajasi garase valita vilase nija ramane vir deva. You are present with your women in the rasa dance filled with pastimes, verse B, is explained. Bringing to earth his human form, the crest jewel of eternal auspiciousness, and showing the extent of its powers, Krishna became astonished at his one form, although he can perfectly understand his form and qualities. The gopis made his form the ornament of ornaments, more beautiful by their beauty. It is said that Krishna possesses that form suitable for human pastimes to show the full capacity of his Yogamaya. That form astonishes even the Lord of Vaikuntha. It is the pinnacle of auspicious qualities and enhances the beauty of his ornaments. In the midst of the dancing gopis, Lord Krishna appeared most brilliant, like an exquisite sapphire in the midst of golden ornaments. In that case, what can be said of Radha's qualities? How much she should be praised. Describing the content of full of happiness, you stand among these young women who cover the earth with joy arising from their songs. Verse H. The poets say, the universe became completely full of the extensive qualities of the youthful Braja women. Commenting on the verse, singing the purest notes with you, the maintainer of astonishment, Radha reveals songs filled with all your qualities, which are praised by everyone. The poets give praise. The gopis, who by singing brought Krishna under control and who bewilder Shiva, Brahma, and Indra by their songs about Krishna, became astonished along with Krishna. I praise Radha, who made all the ragas they created useless. Wow. Elaborating on the phrase, Krishna with swaying earrings with cheeks like mirrors, the poets say, quote, it is proper that Krishna previously performed Achman twice using the nectar from the lips of Radha. How else could he eat the betel chewed by her teeth? This gets quite intimate here. Krishna is the source of all affection and appears in a bodily form. In that form, he spreads experience of affection among all the people of Braja. I offer respects to Radha, the supreme jewel among all the dear gopis to whom he considered himself obligated in love. Subduing her lover, Radha sports with him. Durga, thinking, I am not like that, merges into the body of Shiva out of shame, since she is anyway known as half his body. Poets consider Shiva and Durga being parts of one body. Please consider when I say the same condition is present in Radha and Krishna. Both their forms are full of the prema, and both their forms are famous throughout the three worlds. Their perfect condition cannot be compared to our condition. When the heavenly music and singing slackened, the jingling of the ornaments and buzzing of bees became audible. When both heavenly and earthly sounds diminished, the arts of expert dancing became prominent. The topmost assembly with the gopis' hair and ear ornaments became conspicuous. Krishna began to dance while embracing the gopis, holding their hands, gazing at them with affection, elegantly sporting with them and laughing with them. He was an image and its reflection simultaneously. As the dance ended, the gopis were unable to keep their garlands, hair, bodices, shawls, and ornaments in place. On thinking of the rasa dance, even today, sages forget themselves. It is not surprising, therefore, that the gopis lost their strength at the rasa dance. The heavenly women, on seeing the rasa dance, were pierced by arrows of desire. Bewilderment spread in all directions. Please hear. The sweetness of the rasa dance producing astonishment stopped the zodiac, in other words, the movement of the planets, and made the moon and other planets wander aimlessly in the sky. When the gopis had attained their desired pastime and their actions slackened because of extreme absorption, the rasa dance ended. When the dance ended, the pairs of gopis and Krishna, seeing the opportunity for special arrangements, disappeared into separate groves. On disappearing, the pairs then arranged each other's cloth and ornaments. While embracing, they arranged their cloth. When Krishna embraced the gopis, saying, "You become tired, but not because of me, your lover," the gopis soaked him with tears. "Ah, more delicate than the leaves on a young tree, you have become tired from enjoying pastimes with me. I do not understand." With tears in his eyes, he wiped away the perspiration from their faces. Pretty intense. So, I mean, it's not much I can say about this. This is very esoteric, elevated subject matter. Just someone wants to ask a question. So poetic. Yes, it's extremely poetic, and you can visualize. It's very important while we're reading these descriptions, we actually visualize in our mind's eye what is going on here. So you can have a complete experience. If you hear nicely, As Lord Kapila says, Satam prasangam mama virya samvado bhavanti karna sayana katacha joshanadashu apavarga vartmani shradavda thirvakti anukrameshate. And if you take, in the association of devotees, satam prasangam, hear about Krishna's activities, mama virya samvado, that means Krishna's heroic or wonderful activities. Bhavanti vritkarna, you're supposed to hear with your ear, obviously, but it's supposed to go to the hrit. It's supposed to go to the heart from there. Bhavanti vritkarna is supposed to, bhava means to become. So it's actually, it's the word to be. It's a form of the word to be. That's why the material world is called bhava, because it's coming to be and then coming not to be. Anyway, bhava, creation and dissolution. And so then, but the sound vibration enters from the ear. It's described in the Bhagavatam that there's a channel between the ear and the heart. And so you have to let that enter there, not just like go to the brain. It's the same thing with chanting. You don't just chant with the brain and your lips. You actually have to chant with your heart. And that's why Lord Chaitanya explains in his Shikshashtaka, specifically the verse, one of my favorite verses of Shikshashtaka, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishame bhavambudo. And that verse really characterizes what Prabhupada said when you chant. You're supposed to chant like a child crying out for the mother. Because the child doesn't know, I know no one else but Krishna is my Lord, I know no one else as Krishna, even as my protector, as my maintainer. These are the surrendering principles that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. Of course, having no separate interest other than the interest of the Lord, but accept everything favorable, reject everything unfavorable, accepting that the Lord is protecting you, maintaining you, and not thinking your own brain intelligence is maintaining you, protecting you. So anyway, you just have to, Krishna, Ainanda Tunija Kinkaram, Krishna, I'm your eternal servant. I'm begging you, I've fallen down to this horrible ocean of birth and death. Please fix me up as one of the atoms of joy. So in other words, it has to go to the heart. There has to be an emotional component. If you're just chanting, sometimes while we're chanting, I'm just talking about myself, we're chanting out of passion, you're chanting kirtan out of passion. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's better than not chanting. But really, or chanting and thinking, how nice my voice sounds today. I hope a lot of people watching on the internet. So, but instead, it should just be Krishna, crying out to Krishna, emotionally. And if one does that, and one reads these pastimes in that mood, you actually see Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Shantakshadaiva Hridyeshu Vilokyanti Yam Shaima Shandarama Chincha Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. You actually see Krishna. You actually see Krishna if you allow these words to. And see the rasa dance, of course. The rasa dance and Radharani and the demigods. I mean, when I'm reading it, actually when I read in class, it's harder for me to picture it, but when I read it at home, when I'm just by myself, then I can actually picture, the demigods up there in the sky just watching the whole thing and starting to clap along and dance along, and Gauri thinking, I'm not like this. I guess there's a little transcendental envy there. And she enters into the body of Lord Shiva, and then the ankle bells jingling. Anyway, it's a very picturesque type of scenario. And, anyway, that's what I have to. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Yeah, she's also Vaishnavi too. So. But she represents. She's on the. Sometimes it's described she's on the backside of the Supreme Personality of God, or the Maya's on the backside. Illusion is on the backside of the Lord. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Because these are, yeah.
For a long time, especially early in the early days of our movement, there's a sort of rejection of emotion because it's called sentimental, and therefore it'd be like, well, how do you know it's not just your mind or your sentimental qualities that are feeling this? And therefore, there was sort of like a rejection of the idea of becoming.
That's actually a very interesting question. I would say that even if it is a material emotion, you just like engage in Krishna service and gets purified. As long as it doesn't cause you to become lusty. We're introspective enough to understand when our material desires are increasing, when we become more attracted to things of this world. I mean, not just the opposite sex, but, anything of this world, whether it's the, tongue, vacho vegam, manasa krota vegam, jiva vegam, udapashta vegam. So we have to judge our devotional service upon how we see ourselves, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita, Janayati Asu Vairagam, Yanamacharya Haitukam, about how much we're actually becoming detached from the things of this world. Society, friendship, and love. And basically, that verse I just quoted was the tongue, the belly, the genitals, how much you feel free. I mean, it's real easy. It's not a difficult thing. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to distinguish between material emotions and spiritual emotions. That's true. And I don't get into it that much distinguishing, because the material emotions, when engaged in Krishna's service, can ultimately get you purified, just like the story of Kubja. Her attachment to Krishna was actually, mixed with lust. It wasn't pure. So she approached Krishna, in that way, and she became free from lust. So there is something to be said about just engaging in material emotions in Krishna's service. Krishna save me, or Krishna protect me. Let's say, every time someone lets me drive in a car, I'm always chanting Hare Krishna. That's fear. I'm engaging my material emotions in Krishna's service. But the point is, if it comes to the point where we actually don't experience our material desires going away, like the vacho vegam, manasa krota vegam, you're still, or if you're getting angrier, anger is actually an interesting thing. It's a symptom that you're having material desires. Uncontrolled anger we're talking about, not anger at someone who's blaspheming Krishna or blaspheming or hurting the devotees. I mean, anger is appropriate in certain circumstances. But of all these different pushings, vacho vegam, manasa krota vegam, jiva vegam, mudra pashta vegam, I find that anger is actually like the sign that the other things are out of control. Uncontrolled anger. You understand what I mean? Because, you have this thing, jayato vishapum sam sango station bhajayate sangayate kama krota vijayate krota bhavati samoha, etc. in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, where contemplating sense objects, then you develop attachment. From developing attachment, lust comes. Lust means like just a stronger attachment. I gotta have it. And then from that comes anger. So anger is actually a sign of material attachment, of all sorts of material attachment. It's actually an indication. It's like the red light on the dashboard.
Unfulfilled desires.
Yeah, unfulfilled desires, material attachment, thinking oneself the controller. For example, if I'm driving a car and someone slows down in front of me, I get angry with them. Why do I get angry? Because I think I should be the controller. I think I'm the center. Ishwaroham aham bogi siddhoham balavam sukhi. So I really take anger as an indication that something else is going on. You know, anger by itself, doesn't occur by itself. It has to. Anger is always in relationship to something else. I mean, lust occurs by itself, and you know, the uncontrolled tongue occurs by itself. I mean, there's different needs. I mean, you can get into the psychological Maslowian analysis of the whole thing, but I've experienced that anger actually is actually connected to something else, some other desire. Yeah.
And also anger at the bottom of people who experience depression.
Yeah. My desire does not be fulfilled, and yeah, it's a manifestation of depression, and it's also depression is also a manifestation of self-centeredness to a certain extent. You know, as they often say, you shouldn't think less of yourself; you should think of yourself less. So I really take, you know, whenever anger comes up, I say something else is going on. It's not just the anger I got to deal with; it's something else going on. So in other words, if my emotions, which are engaged in Krishna's service, are causing a resurgence of material desires, specifically anger and other material desires, then I understand that my emotions are actually contaminating my Krishna consciousness. Like Prabhupada said, that if you try to jump too fast to these pastimes between Krishna and the gopis, instead of being purifying, it'll be putrefying. So a sign of putrefaction is anger, lust, anger, greed. You know, you find these things increasing. Maybe outside of the temple room. I mean, you're sitting down with all your friends and hearing about Krishna's Rasa Lila, but then as soon as you leave the temple room, all hell breaks loose. So you got to really see yourself holistically and look, you know, during the day outside of the temple, what are my actions and what is my consciousness like? Is it getting worse or is it getting better? Because part of the platform of Nishta, steadiness in devotional service, is steadiness outside of the sadhana process. Yeah, that's extremely important. And then also, one thing came to mind when you said that was that we actually need some personal time too. That when we're just by ourselves, because you know, you find these monks and everything, they would go up to the mountains or they go in, like, of course, Jesus Christ, he went into the desert. And John the Baptist, you find them going to the desert. And why would they go to the desert? Not just because of the physical austerity, but because it gives them some time to actually be introspective. You know, part of introspection is sharing with others, you know, who are close to Dadati Pratigrana, Guyamakyati Prichadi. And another part is actually just having quality time with yourself, not always interacting with other people. So, and you'll find that in every, thank you for bringing it up, you'll find that practically in every monastic sect, that there's, you know, they even call sometimes where people live their cell, you know, in the amongst the monks or the nuns like that, where you just have to really just get into, you know, what is my motivation, what are my emotions, what are my attachments, like that. And I think that's important for devotees to have that, QT, quality time with themselves. Thank you. That's actually a very good point. So, anything else? I mean, it's hard for me to comment too much on, because it's such an elevated subject matter, these Rasa Lila pastimes. I think in the future, the devotees could read several verses in one day. It's not, I mean, unless they're actually ready to comment on each individual verse, but what? Yeah.
Fortunately, we have access to this.
Yeah.
Fortunate.
We are so fortunate. We have to thank Krishna every day, or every moment. Jai Shri Shri Radhagolokananda Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Shri
Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Bhagom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Pasyan Dipan Dikayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Gorjana Bodhay. Kutadendran Yamaya Pisachini Rakode. Hare Singh Samsara Vitare Hulia Rohini to me Avinjarabhave Tumare Right on me Oinu Avatara Ami Pina Manu Harana Kaya Jagi Tumara Ene Chayat Shanti Maya Natsi Baruna Hatinam Mamada Mantra Laudo Vimange Bhagati Vinoda Prabhu Charane Poriya Hare Nama Panja Loyilo Magaya Chirago Chitago Omrachana Bode Katanendraya Vaya Visachirakore Namago Vishnu Daya Vishnu Ayambo Devay Srimate Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pracharane Devasesha Shunyavadeva Sachade Satamane Devasesha Shunyavadeva Sachade Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Holy Jananda Chitwaita Kadana Siva Sade Gaurvata Twinda Jaya Sri Jaya Sri Jajada Shiva Sati Gaurabhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Jaya Ram, Hare Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravadigacharya also Tada Siddhashi Shrimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Chandana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shiveda Gadadha Shivasi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Govardhanath Shyam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Vijaradam Ki Jai. Jagatha Swami Ki Jai. Manamai Ki Jai. Shivadi Lasadev Ki Jai. Sabhaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari. All glories to assemble devotees, all glories to assemble devotees, all glories to assemble devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami. Today's returning. So Lord Gaurachandra is calling, wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping soul. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you suffer. Take this great chant for deliverance, Mahamantra, the names of Hari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, falling at the Lord's lotus feet, take shelter of the Harinam mantra, the Lord's holy names. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Okay, Shikshastika.
Arjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrikavitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamridaswadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Paramvijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudan Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Dharnena Kala Etadgrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idrishami Hajani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sritena Tarurapi Shishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Avitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir hoitaki tvai ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishameva vambadav kripaya tava padak pankajas tita duli sadrashim vachintaya nayanam galada shudaraya vadanam gadgadairadaya gira pulakarnishitam vapukada Tavanama grahane bhavishyati yugayatam namishena chakshusha bhavishayatam shunayatam jagat sarvam govindam virahena me ashlishiva badamratam rastumam adarshanam ramata korotuva yatatatava vinato lampato mat prananata susha eva napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, angel chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name